Hello, welcome to the verbal enclave of entertainment. I know the words are getting bigger. It's your job just to sit back and relax. About 10 minutes into the show, we disperse lovely-looking people with trays of finger sandwiches and beverages for your dining and dancing pleasure. I want you to be completely relaxed, unless you're driving in your car. That's not a good idea. That can cause accidents. But if you're not in a car, I want you to completely relax. Consider this your moment of meditation. As a matter of fact, picture a waterfall and me in a kayak getting too close to the edge of the waterfall and going over the edge and plummeting 700 feet to my subsequent death. If that doesn't relax you, I don't know what would.
On the air everywhere, this is New England Broadcasting.
Welcome to the Ron Van Dam Show. Hold on tight. Things can get a bit weird, if you like that sort of thing.
Do you like that sort of thing, really?
Whatever.
I know. I get it. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. It's the thing that you clicked on.
Sit back, relax, grab a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, whatever your liquid libation may be in the morning, and join us as we take a look at the world around us. As much as it's a pleasure to be with you, the pleasure is actually all yours. And now, here's your host, Ron Van Dam.
Thank you very much, Julie. Julie is just one of the women in my life. Actually, I haven't seen her in about 10 years, but that's okay. I got her voice recorded. That's all I was going for. The other woman in my life is, of course, Alexa, because Alexa knows what her favorite radio show is.
The Ron Van Dam Show, of course.
Thank you, Alexa. Anyway, hi. Excuse me if I'm not including you in the conversation, but that would physically be impossible. So, you must excuse me in that sense. I am only human. Technology keeps me in a bucket, and I am not able to relate to you in any way, shape, or form. Yes, I do have an email address. It's ronvandamshow@gmail.com, not the it's part. ronvandamshow@gmail.com. But I only answer emails that I want to. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, or you have some idea of topic of conversation which you'd wish me to satirize, then I will respond accordingly. If you're simply contacting me because you have nothing else to do, I will not respond to you. I think that's pretty much the way I run my whole life. They congratulate me. Why? Because I have not been on Facebook at all. Now for 4.5 months. That's a record for anybody on the planet. I have no desire to go to that thing anymore. I am so free of looking at pictures of what people had for dinner last night. Oh, I am so free from that. It's like the wall has come down. I feel the freedom. I don't have to listen to other people's problems. I don't. If I don't want to, I don't have to. Last time I was on Facebook, there was this glut of Facebook messages from people, quote-unquote people. I did air quotes. You can't see it, but I did them. who were doing these religious, like, they weren't like totally religious, but they were just like good feeling kind of things, and it screwed me up. It was like every day say something nice to somebody. I'm like, why are you telling me this? Why are you conveying this stuff to me? Do you really want me to say something nice to somebody every day, or does it make you feel good to depart this wisdom upon us all as if you were Jesus-like? And you think that balances all the crap and hatred that is spewed forth through this Facebook entity? It does not. Oh, man. Ever since I realized that Facebook was selling off my information, I stopped. Do you know why I really stopped? It's because I was the one giving them all the information. When you correspond on Facebook, or whatever you call that thing you do on it, when you use it, you are giving up your personal information. You're telling them everything that you do in your life, your likes, your dislikes, what you buy, what you don't buy, all of your friends, your age, where you were born, where you live now, where the keys to your house are, like under the mat at the front door. Facebook tells these marketers everything they want to know, and they're not just marketers; they're hackers, people trying to get your information, etc. And we type it in. Type in where were you born? Sure, I'll tell everybody I was born in New Zealand. Not that I was. I'm just making that up. We just answer the questions, and it goes out there, and now we have this information on us. I mean, come on, man. So I realized I'm not participating in that anymore. I'm not voluntarily giving out my information anymore. I'll do this radio show because I'm just spewing forth crap here. You know, what's the big deal? But I'm not giving out my personal information, and neither should you. And I also understand that whoever you correspond with on Facebook, again, I don't know if correspond is the right word for this, but whoever you interact with on Facebook, their information is also spewing forth because they're a connection of you if you are the target of this spewing of information. So I don't even participate in that. I don't spew to other people on Facebook. I will have nothing to do with it whatsoever. I don't know if the guy's name is Zuckerberg or Hindenburg or whatever the hell this guy's name is, but shameful, sir. Shameful, sir. You are shameful, sir. So congratulate me. I celebrate how many months I've been off of Facebook more than I do years of my birthday. I don't celebrate my birthdays, but I celebrate my absence from Facebook. That's where I'm at. That's the game I play. Well, as the world is falling apart in the sense that your president, Donald Trump, or whatever the hell his name is, I call him a President Douchebag because he would call me that. He has an affinity for putting people down and calling them names, so I figure, well, monkey see, monkey do, man. So President Douchebag, this is what he's done while you were sleeping. He went to the NATO meeting and started ragging on Germany and saying that the United States pays too much money into NATO and all that stuff. And, of course, Trump not realizing that that is the thing that keeps us free. Anyway, he did that. He did pretty much everything that Vladimir Putin wants done, which is break up the friendships and the allied connections that we have with the European nations and countries around the world. Russia wants to break that up, and Donald is doing exactly what Putin wants. So there's your little puppet act. Also overnight, while you were sleeping, while you were having these horrendous dreams, Trump decided to up the tariffs on goods coming in from China. So China responded very quickly by saying, well, we're going to up the goods on everything you buy now, not just certain categories. And Trump has also upped the tariffs on our friends, Mexico. Well, I'm sorry, not Mexico. They're rapists and murderers. But Canadians, all our other friends, he upped the tariffs. So now we're in like a deep trade war for no reason whatsoever, really. So you're going to be paying more on everything that you buy within about a year's time, I would say, perhaps even sooner. And then you can personally email Donald and say, thank you very much for fucking up my life. Okay. Anyway, how you doing? But rather than talk about that, I've decided to be as frivolous as possible, which is what I do for a living. I was watching a movie yesterday afternoon. Ron, you have a job where you can watch movies in the afternoon? Yes, I do this thing in the morning, this radio thing. It satisfies me financially, and I have the rest of the day to pretty much just vegetate. So, and I've earned this. I've earned this in my life, believe me. I was flipping burgers. My first job was flipping burgers at Broadway Joe Namath's in Times Square in New York City. I hope you've traveled enough to realize where Times Square is in New York City. It was my first job, and I lied my way into it, which I am still proud of to this day. Because believe me, when you're going for a job as a short order chef at a burger place, they don't check references like you think they would. Or you got 2 arms, 2 legs? You can flip burgers, you're hired. That's really all it takes, believe me. And you got to dress up a little bit for the interview. Beyond that, everything's good. Joe Namath was a famous New York Jets quarterback, football, way back in the day. And he decided, as most popular money-hoarding football players do, to open up a chain of burger places. His first one was in Times Square. It's called Broadway Joe Namath's. That was his nickname, Broadway Joe. They had just opened up, and they were looking for a guy, which they called a short order chef. Actually, it was just a guy to throw the burgers on the griddle and wrap them up in paper and throw them down the chute. So I never saw the front of the restaurant. I was always in the back. My only connection to public life was this little metal chute where the burgers they go down the chute. I did this for about a week. I lied my way into the job. I said that I was a short order chef at other fast food places that had since closed down. Not because of me, but because they closed down anyway. So I got hired for this job, and I did rather well. I had never flipped a burger in my life. Flipping burgers, you put the piece of meat, the patty already comes made in a patty form. It's very thin. You put it on the griddle. You let it sit there for about 1.5 minutes, and then you flip it over and another 1.5 minutes, and then you slide it onto a bun, put some condiment crap on it, and wrap it up in a piece of paper and send it down the chute. Not a problem, had no problem with that. Did that for a week. I quit after a week, not because of the burger flipping part, but because I had the evening shift, which ended at 1 o'clock in the morning. I guess you call it the night shift, into the morning shift. And my job after flipping burgers for 7 hours was to clean the equipment, to wipe down the grill and clean all the stainless steel equipment in the kitchen. And that took an entire hour, and I don't clean kitchens. It's just something I don't do. I'll clean my own kitchen, but I ain't going to clean somebody else's kitchen. So I said to myself, I was hired to flip burgers, not to clean kitchens, and I quit. I've had many, many jobs at the beginning of my job career. Some of them for long periods of time, some of them short. It's been quite a journey. Why am I telling you this? Because some of you might say, well, Ron, you do radio. That sounds like a real simple job. Well, not entirely. It's mentally very, very exhausting. But yeah, it's not so bad. But I've earned this. I've done other things. It's not like I started doing this. I've earned this. So just shut up. Anyway, I don't even know what I was talking about. You distracted me completely. God. I was watching this movie yesterday afternoon because I had the time to do it because I do this in the morning. That's what I was saying. And in the movie was from like 1970 something. And in the movie, this guy runs into a hotel, and in the lobby, there's a phone booth. And that stopped me in my mental tracks. It was like, wow, a phone booth. I haven't seen those in a long time. They don't have them anymore. Now, for you millennials, you have no idea what I'm talking about. They had these thing called payphones. You would put a quarter in to the slot, and you would get a dial tone, and you could call anybody in the world, but it would cost you more the further away you were calling. And if you weren't sure about how to do it, you would just dial a 0. There's a big dial, and you would put your finger in the one that had 0 on it, and you'd swing the dial all the way around, and this lady would answer. It would always be a lady. She'd answer the phone. She'd say, "Operator, how can I help you?" I was like, whoa. And that was free. Whoa. Whoa. And I remember sitting in this booth, and you could actually close the door in the booths. It was like a soundproof booth. You couldn't hear anything else, and you're sitting in there with a phone. It was a big, skinny cylinder that you sat in, like a big rectangle. And it was an incredible thing. The only thing was, after about 3 minutes, you'd have to put another quarter in, otherwise your call would be cut off. This voice would come over the phone while you were talking to somebody. And say, "I'm sorry, but your time is up. If you'd like to continue your conversation, please insert another quarter." So, wow. It was pretty cool. And I was just thinking about that. And I was thinking of Superman. You know who Superman is? The Cape Crusader? No, that's Batman. I don't know the difference. Superman was a guy that ran around in his tights with a cape on, which was kind of a lot of them. There were a lot of superheroes back then. We don't have any superheroes now. We don't. I don't know what happened to them. Maybe I think they were baby boomers or something, but there were a lot of superheroes. There was this Catwoman and Catgirl and Batman and Robin and Superman and the Green Lantern. I didn't understand the powers of the Green Lantern. Apparently, this super character had the ability to light up a lantern and it would be green. And I don't know how that fought crime, but I don't know. There were a lot of them. Now there's none of them at all. I think it's just Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and they're even like old now. They're like in their 70s. They're not fighting crime as much anymore. They're like turtles in walkers. They're old. They got old. There were the Power Rangers, which sexually confused me. But they're not around anymore. They're in a home somewhere in New Jersey. There are no more of them anymore. There really aren't. Sucks. Anyway, yeah, telephone booths, man. Look them up. There's pictures of them and everything. They actually, wow, they were really cool. I enjoyed them. It was a moment of privacy. I don't know if you can appreciate that, but when you sat in a phone booth with the door closed, all of a sudden you would say to yourself, "I'm alone. The world is going on around me, and I'm sitting in a tiny little rectangle, soundproof, sitting here alone." Sometimes I wouldn't even use the phone. I'd just sit in a booth and just to get away from life for a while. It would be like my cabin in the woods, the telephone booth. And if you didn't use the phone, it was like a point of zen and meditation. Until somebody came knocking on the glass. "Come on, you going to use the phone or not?" And then you'd have to leave because a fight could ensue. because you didn't own that booth just because you sat in it. You had to use it. And you couldn't take too long. There weren't a lot of phone booths, necessarily, and people had to make calls. There were no cell phones. There were no cell phones. You couldn't walk around. If you heard somebody talking to themselves walking down the street, those people were fucking crazy. Now they're just having a conversation with a business associate. Very, very different times we're in. Very, very different times. Hey, it's your choice.
You are listening to The Ron Van Dam Show. Did they just not offer you a second choice, or did you not have a lot of time to choose? Help me out here. I don't understand. What were you thinking?
Well, it's not that terrible. I mean, it does sound bad, but it's not that terrible. I don't know what bitcoins are or that kind of thing. I have quarters and dimes and nickels and things like that when it comes to coinage. But apparently I'm behind the times with this, like I'm still using a phone booth, let's say. So I thought our next guest would be able to update me on what I'm not understanding. Sean Worthington joins us now. He's got a new book, Beyond Bitcoin, The Future of Digital Currency. And I, to be honest with you, I'm not that up on digital currency. What exactly is that?
Well, it's like money, just digital version.
All right.
Its job is to track. Money's job is to track how much good we put into the economy, so that we can get the same amount out. That's what it tries to do.
Now, I've heard of Bitcoin. This is apparently Bitcoin isn't the only player in town.
That's right. In fact, Bitcoin was the first digital currency to really solve what's called the physical integrity problem of digital money. Mm-hmm. That means how can you have a digital money if the government can just come in and shut off the servers, or if hackers can counterfeit the algorithm, or if you can just do it. But that code was open source, and so people just took it and copied and pasted it. We have about 15,000 clones of it, just different names, but do the same thing.
So how indeed what is the backing for a digital coin service? How is it realized in real money?
Well, as it turns out, monetary systems are just information systems, and money is just data.
Well, it is anyway, yeah.
And so if your money can play the role of an accounting system and a database and be able to successfully track everybody's economic activity and make sure that we get justice and we actually get stuff out that we put in, then that is a good money system.
So what happens indeed if there is a national hacking or an international hacking to the point where the systems are brought down? How are those records kept?
Well, if there was a hacking and the monetary system was hacked, in fact, there's something called BitGold that is a Bitcoin clone that was hacked, actually, where some hacker brought in a whole bunch of servers and was able to take over the whole system. If that happens, of course, the monetary system is unreliable and it's no good. It's just like if somebody came in and counterfeited a whole bunch of $100 bills and Fed notes.
Wouldn't that be the same for money in a bank, though? I mean, because all of that is really digital now, too, isn't it?
Well, actually, it's not, because every time that you go and buy or sell something with a debit card, you've got numbers. Those numbers actually represent physical dollars that have to be somewhere.
Okay.
So they've got to print those dollars and put them in a vault, and then they can issue digital money that references it.
Now you've come up with CloudCoin, which is, I guess, a hybrid that actually solves and tackles some of those concerns.
Yes, CloudCoin has taken a different approach than Bitcoin. Bitcoin uses cryptography to get its physical integrity, but CloudCoin uses redundancy. And basically we have something called the DNS system, which is the domain name system, and it's been up since 1985. It's never gone down. It allows us to change exchange URLs to IP addresses, and we took that structure and modified it so that we can use it to authenticate digital currency.
And
so
go on. No, please finish.
And so instead of having this public ledger in which everybody has accounts and you have to log in and have a public key and private key, with CloudCoins, the CloudCoins themselves have the account, so we just trade the money and then we authenticate it and make sure it's real or not.
So CloudCoin, by definition, is in a separate location from hackers.
That's right. We can spread the risk out by just putting CloudCoins in different locations.
I see. Now, I mean, this could be the future of currency in a way, couldn't it?
I think it will be. I think it absolutely will be. It'll change the world.
Wow. Is this something that has been discussed throughout the world? Is it an international discussion?
Well, CloudCoin itself is being announced at Freedom Fest on July 11th.
Oh.
And so it's been around and it's been working for about a year and a half, but we haven't really started marketing or telling people about it because we've been working on the software, but all that work is coming to a closure now. And but yeah, it's international. We did test it in Russia, and it was a big success there, and we tested it in Serbia. It was a big success there. So I think it's going to gain some popularity.
I know that you bring up the Beanie Baby thing, which is something that I lived through. Many people that are listening probably didn't, have no idea what a Beanie Baby is.
Yeah.
But in that sense, that was an actual commodity. It was a physical commodity, but its representation was kind of amazing.
Mm-hmm. And so there's been a lot of fads. And there was the Tamagotchis many, many years ago.
Uh-huh.
And I think that digital currencies have had a fad as well in the last 6 months. And, of course, that led to the biggest bubble the biggest economic bubble in human history, with the price of Bitcoin just soaring and then crashing, and it's still going down.
Yeah.
But I think that just like the .com bubble, there actually is some substance there, and it the good stuff will survive, and it's going to be a very important part of our life in the future. We have crossed a threshold, and there's no going back. But it did take some time to weed out what's real and what's not real.
And I guess, I mean, as we've alluded to through the whole conversation, I guess the most important is security in everything these days. Apparently, we've shifted from the fanciful to the nervous.
Absolutely, and I have started a company that's trying to stop the hack, because there really should not be any kind of hacking going on these days. There should be a way to defeat them, the hackers.
Yes.
And we're developing the equivalent of digital shredding, where we take data and we shred it into different pieces and we put it all over the world.
Oh.
And then the only way to get it is if you know all the addresses. And that would be some kind of a key, and if you can keep that key safe, hopefully we can stop that kind of hacking from going on.
Wow, it's like a separate company, Cloud Shred.
That's right. That's a good name, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, because I think I'd throw money into that one. Okay, so your book is out now, which explains everything that you're talking about, and it's called Beyond Bitcoin: The Future of Digital Currency. That's available everywhere?
Yeah, you can get it on Amazon, but you could also get a copy for free if you go to our marketing partner. That's digitalfrontiernews.com. If you sign up for their newsletter, you'll get that free with 5 free CloudCoins.
Wow. Okay, that's worth going to. That couldn't hurt. All right. What did you do? Just out of curiosity, Sean, what did you do previously to this?
Well, actually, I still am a computer science instructor at Butte College in Northern California.
I see. Interesting. And how did this come to you?
Well, I was working on my dissertation in computer information systems, And I realized that monetary systems are information systems, and that we can take all the rules that we apply to databases and we could apply them to monetary systems. So I created this model I call the model of, or the theory of perfect money. I'll be talking about that at Freedom Fest as well.
Well, so you've built a better mousetrap.
That's right. I think I've cracked it and figured it out.
Pretty cool. Well, certainly worth looking into. There's no question about that. Beyond Bitcoin, the future of digital currency. One more time, that website where we can get the free copy of the book and more information.
That's digitalfrontiernews.com.
Perfect. Hey, thanks for talking to us about this. Most of us had no idea that this was even possible, so thank you.
Well, thanks for having me.
You take care. Bye-bye. Okay, I still don't understand what he's talking about. Well, I'm out of time for today. I really am. I really am out of time. Seriously, I'm not kidding you. I'll be back again tomorrow with a brand new show. Tell you what, get out your appointment book right now. I'll wait. Okay, pencil me in for tomorrow around the same time, or whenever it's convenient for you. I'm here all day on this site. So tomorrow, okay? Yeah, let's do it. Hey, it could be fun, right? Yeah, come on. Let's tomorrow, both of us, you and me, we'll do this. Yeah, I look forward to it too. Nice meeting you. Have a nice day. I wish you peace.